Okay, now. Hi, Olga. Good
Hello,
evening.
Vita.
Good evening. Good evening to you. Nice to meet you today. And I would like to
Nice to
say,
see you again.
yeah, I would like to say to my audiences that it is my pleasure. And thank you for joining me today. And this morning, uh, Olga contacted me, and then we share many things. We update many things after 2 years detaching. So I would like to welcome Olga, lady from Russia, who has been living in Thailand more or less 18 years since 2003. First time he arrived our country, and I assume you fall in love in Thailand.
Yes, first I thought it's a little vacation, but then Thailand was drawing me back,
Yeah. So
and
a
I
little bit
decided to come
formal, a
stay
little bit
here, and now it's my
formal.
base.
Yeah, a little bit formal. It's the first time. Yeah, we show on my YouTube, we show on my Facebook Live, Facebook. So the time in the beginning, could you please introduce yourself, your background, and uh, what you has been doing in Thailand, just for the first session in general. Welcome.
Well, not only in Thailand, anywhere I go, I consider myself a student of health and happiness. So I'm very curious person. So I go into a lot of areas of traditional medicine and the modern medicine. My background is the whole family is in medical field, but I never thought that I will get into it. I love education, and my first university degree actually is the teaching training and the linguistics and economics and stuff like that. But then I was drawn into their healing field because I just became very passionate about everything that we can do for ourselves. So now I'm still in education, but work as a consultant and as a health coach, and organize private programs. I call them vitality projects. Everybody can do their vitality project. It can be done in the group, it can be done in a family, in the company, so it can be adjusted as needed. But the idea is to be happy and healthy for yourself, for your community and for the whole planet. So usually it makes sense to start with yourself, to learn, experience, and then if you have excellent results, then usually people are very excited to share. At least I am. So I usually teach what I want to learn. That's my big secret. And yeah, it's something that I enjoy learning. So I go to a lot of different places and work with people who um, in the same mindset, that they believe that people can do a lot themselves, can change their life and change their country and their change globally. it, it just starts in the center with yourself. So I'm into sustainability and permaculture and self-sufficiency. I'm into positive psychology and detox and nutrition and superfoods and a lot of different modalities. But the all of them I consider as tools in the toolbox. But the most important thing is this idea of vitality, which for me is a sum of health and happiness together. I don't think that being crazy and thinking only about health and being afraid of everything and kind of be paranoid is very healthy in the end. And also to be, hey, I'll go happy and forget about taking care of yourself, and don't think about health is also in the end will not make you very happy. But when you put them together, then happy and healthy create really satisfying results.
Yeah.
Can express yourself.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you very much. Very beautiful introduction, because our audience can know who Olga, uh, who is Olga. But in my um, understanding, after listening to what you just said, you are one who a practical guy. We not go extremely. We not go like so too much crazy on what we are doing. And the keywords you mentioned about that is you are someone who believe in nature law, be relaxing, and not because like health conscious people is not come from mostly not come from their heart. I think that some of them they are get into the healthy environment, like trendy, but he's not feeling from their inner to joy the group. And sometimes they don't know exactly the meanings of healthy, because when we talk about healthy, we are talking about something very basic. It's about nature, because organic people would love organic. That means people respect the nature. The difference from the people who are ignore like a chemical the perspective is one who try to control the nature. When they plan something, they're supposed to fix everything ahead, but we cannot, because if you heard about the how organic farming look like, you cannot make everything tidy for the farming, right? Because in the chemical farming, they try to take extremely control everything. They start thinking about the when start the planting seed till the harvesting, and easily when you try to make this think about the chemical farm, you can see it's like a industry. But how about the organic farming? It is something multi-crop. You cannot get there like area your crop is in a very uh, alignment or something like that, because that is nature. And people always think of their like a time, their efficiency, something like that, by trying to control the nature. So that is a mindset, like you mentioned. And then uh, another keywords you mentioned, you are one who love learning, lifelong learning. That is very common to me, because we are living in revolving blue planet Earth, and if you stop walking, you will be left on behind instantly. So we have to keep walking. We have to catch up with every thing, every dynamic thing. So that is what I try to catch up your words when you introduce yourself. So the because of I'm getting old, please remind me when and how did we meet?
Well, actually, we kept meeting in a lot of different places. So it was farmers market, and we also talk about the possibility of the Hua Hin project, and we met in organic fairs and symposiums, and so we always meet in the places where mindful people meet, somebody who cares. I usually find you in all these places. So yeah, ever since we met, usually that's what we do. We just bump into each other in either farmers market or some organic events
Okay,
or sustainability
yeah,
oriented events.
yeah. I just kidding you. Actually, everything is clear in my mind. And you know what impressed me? The time just in the beginning, and when you met, we just say hi. And one day at the Gateway Ekamai, you came to my exhibition booth, and at that time, you told me about your project. Yeah, it is a well-being project. It's a health community. So the loc, if I'm right, it's located at Hua Hin, down south of Thailand. And that time you bring some document, and then I told you I experienced because previously I run my construction business. I happen to be a consultant to one Singaporean investor who like to invest in health community in Northeast region. So he connect to my company and asked if I can do feasibility study for him, and he would like to know what is the necessary things to be take into account if he would like to launch this kind of project. Frankly speaking, at that time, it is quite new for me. What is the health community? Even even in Thailand, there is one health community. I think in Hua Hin as well. I think you know Shiwa Som. It's a luxury one, right? It's for elite. But okay, I never ever uh, knew about that. But later on, when he came to my office and he tried to explain about the scope of work, I know the reason. In Singapore, um, the employee usually supposed to retire when they when they are 55. So that is still young. That's still young. But if the people retire, the money they earn become less because the pension usually is less than the salary, right? Basic salary. So it's a very smart way because they try to predict the behavior of this group of retired people. So this man, Singaporean developer, he would like to create like a health community for this retired group and stay together. For what? Because in Thailand, as you know, the standard cost of living is much different, might be 3 or 4 times comparing with Singapore, and very easy in terms of the transportation. They can fly to Thailand. You only small money. In particular, during this time, there are so many low price. carrier airline. And what is the benefit? Because if the old people, retired people can stand, stay together at the community, well, well planned, so they can stay together, share the thing between the people of the same generation gap, right? And then they can save quite a lot of money because of the standard cost of living. Here, boom, I I understand, and then I know, okay, that is a business plan. But what I can give them the helping hand in terms of their feasibility study, that we need to study at least five factors. The first one, if it's possible, if it's feasible in terms of the engineering. The first, we need to find the land that supposed to be like a potential close to the not far away from the downtown, and have the sufficient infrastructure around, safety, and blah blah blah. Yeah, and then we have to go to the place, have the contour map, and start planning, and start to see if it's feasible in terms of engineering. And if yes, we go further to economic feasibility study. Okay, if it's sound in terms of the benefit cost ratio, internal rate of return, we step to three uh, factors: money, fund, investor, or the how can we get the money, financial. And when we're talking about the community, that's mean you're supposed to build a community that uh, have the many nearby and different culture. You're supposed to think more social and surely political. Yeah, and that we go in deep, and then we finish by the like a conceptual design, and they submit to the management of the Singapore firm for approval, and then we go on the detailed design, and finally we start construction. And this is a principle I explained you at the Bangkok Farmer Market. Yeah. So that is what I would like to share. I would like to tell our audience what happened 2 years ago. And now I would ask you, how about that health community project in Hua Hin? I would like to know the progress.
Well, it's still on the stage of ideas, so it's not developed as any construction or anything else, because there are several ideas that are possible to do there. So the land is there. There are several ideas that are there, but that is not something that is feasible, for a visitor to the country to do. So that is not the project that I can develop by myself.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I just put it on hold to see what other opportunities come up, but it's on pause.
Mm-hmm. Okay, if so, that's mean in terms of the engineering, it's feasible, right? In terms of
It's
the
feasible. Yeah, we made a master plan, and my idea was not make it as a retirement community after all, but more of a multi-generational and multifunctional place that is designed with the permaculture principles, And the same land would host several zones. Some of them are wild, some are cultivated, and some are, very public, used a lot. So it will be a sanctuary for some rare and medicinal plants, and the spa would have all their possible ingredients grown right next to your spa bed. So you'll get your lemongrass that grew 2 meters away from your bed, and you have juices made from something that is just came from the tree or from the soil, from the ground. So the idea was to make it as a membership
Oh yeah.
community, that some people can stay there more or less permanently. Some would just send their families and friends, come from time to time, and for the rest of the time rent it out for their participants of various retreats, workshops, special events. So the idea was to invite experts in the field of well-being to have the special events, and also invite people who live in the vicinity of the land to be kind of stakeholders, so that it's not an island surrounded by locals. That will be a part of the local community, very closely knit, so that community will benefit from the project, that they can maybe learn some techniques how to produce products needed for this business, so that they don't need to use chemicals, and can make some crafts, and also have special events like harvest sharing, and invite local kids for free to participate in workshops and activities, and kind of make it interactive. So now in the COVID era, I just got confirmation that it's not wise to separate all the generations and put them in close quarters and kind of create this artificial generation gap. um, because it's very important for emotional health and for physical health and for the immunity of society in general, that people interact and people exchange um, not just knowledge, but also exchange genetic material through viruses. Because when viruses go through a healthy community, they become weaker and weaker. And then when this weak virus goes to an older person, it's not dangerous. But when the virus comes to a community that is artificial, and it's highly concentrated with weaker people or older people, then the virus becomes stronger and stronger. And then it actually becomes more dangerous for everybody. And so that is kind of a new twist to the old story, that grandchildren and grandparents need to interact. Apparently, it's not just to have fun and exchange knowledge and take care of each other, but also to stay healthy together.
Mhm. Okay, thank you. Yes, yes, I agree, because of there are so many impact from COVID-19. It impact not only way of life of the people, it impact everything. Yeah, finally we call it new normal. It's not for Thailand. It's a global issue. And last 2 week, I watched a special program of the World Economic Forum. Yeah, I listened to Singapore Prime Minister. He made a presentation to the floor, and he mentioned that when he was asked if what kind of the government policy to handle COVID-19, he said Singapore will not wait for the the normal situation. Sorry, I think I need to check my battery is warning. Okay, sorry, I forgot to plug in the battery. That is why the
Happens.
yeah. So yeah, the Mr. Lee, uh, Prime Minister said that Singapore never look back to what happened in the past. Singapore believe that our world will not get back to the old normal. Even as you said that for virus, even 1 year, you remember the um, January 2020, yeah, the first outbreak, Wuhan, yeah, and that time after Chinese New Year, yeah, the pandemic from outbreak it is explode, expand, and become to epidemic, yeah. And what's happening after, let's say, 1 year? How about the second wave in Thailand? Virus mutate, and now it's so-called the new variant. It can spread more easily. That is like I would say it's a revolution because virus is one of the living creature, right? They're supposed to adjust and they should be uh, surviving as well. Yeah, and Singapore Prime Minister said that's the reason he forget about the every system in his country. He said that some is completely disrupted by new normal. So he's supposed to think uh, ahead and how to adjust the system to get ready first among the others for the new normal regarding COVID-19. Yes. Uh, okay. So let's come back to your health community. Even now, I listen. You develop quite a lot, and it's still a big project. And it's look like if it's a fully developed, it will be um, the very good one. So do you have any team because you do the big project and
Well,
yeah,
it is
complete.
exactly why it is on pause now, because I do not have the team. What I do have is a team of online, I call them chapters of the Vitality Project. So when I said that everything I do is a part of this um, movement, so I have groups of people that in sometimes geographically, sometimes by interest, get together, and we discuss all topics of well-being and nutrition and mindfulness and sustainability, and all these vaccines and COVID and everything that can be connected to health and happiness. So I participate in summits and do webinars, and um, you know some before COVID it was mostly in person. Now it's mostly through Zoom and the other platform online. This is kind of the sub teams that are not designed to make that Hoa project happen, but all of them work together. Even some of these people don't know each other, but they still work together in this beautiful web of life to create better vitality for themselves and for people around them. So it's how when the rain drops and there are circles, So all these groups are like these raindrops that finally spread around and teach each other, support each other, help each other. So I'm learning from these people, and I'm also sharing what I know. So teaching from my experience, because I've been doing it for more than 20 years on 3 different continents. So being very curious person, I accumulated a huge box of tools that I use for myself, and these tools work for people who want to be healthy. Some of them I just don't want to be sick anymore. They don't agree to have diabetes for the rest of their lives, or heart problems or cancers. Some people want to achieve better athletic results or raise healthier children. They want to make their house and their backyard that is safe and healthy. So that's what we create. We do the digital detox programs and house detox programs, and even what I call the self brainwashing. We do a lot of cleansing. So everything that is too much in your life, creates this toxicity, so we get rid of it. That is the number one out of the three components of this vitality. So when you feel that something is too much, let go and minimize the input.
Mhm.
Then the second part is the opposite. When you see that something is missing, something that is lacking in your vitality, you need to understand what it is. Maybe you need better food. Maybe you need a better circle of people around you. Maybe you need some intellectual knowledge. So whatever is missing, you nourish yourself, you bring it in. Maybe it's self-love. A lot of people don't have this self-empathy and self-love, self-acceptance. That is also can be an area of nourishment. And then the last one, number three, principle of vitality is to find the areas of stagnation, right? So if the water doesn't move, it becomes stinky. Right? Stagnant water. So our cells also are full of water. If there is no good circulation, if you're not moving, you're not breathing, you're not, changing your programming mentally, or you have stuck emotions, or your gut is stagnant, it's called constipation. So, any kind of stagnation, you need to identify and restore the flow, restore the movement. So I call this system 3 by 3.
Mhm.
So what is 3 by 3? Is detox, nourish, and flow in the areas of body, mind, and spirit. And that is kind of universal, but it's also very, very personal. Because in different times of your life, you can have different deficiencies, you can have different toxicities. Maybe you have toxic people around you, a toxic job, then you need to detox it out.
Mm.
Maybe you're stuck somewhere, even emotionally. Okay, when you recognize it, let it go.
Mhm. Mhm.
So this is what we do with all my what I would call tribes or teams. So it's not one team, it's many. And I welcome invitations to participate in other people's projects. And it's like, oh, use me as a resource. I
Mm.
love sharing. I want to learn from you and share with you. So
Yeah.
I'm very excited that you were also talking about it, and inviting me to um, co-create something. Yeah, I would love to do it together.
Yeah. Thank you. Um, Other, yeah. What are the three different continent during your experience during 20 years? Three continent.
Yes, it's Europe, Northern America and Asia.
Asia. Yeah.
Yeah, so in Europe, it's various countries with more traditional Western practices. So it's naturopathy, it's homeopathy, is traditional Western herbology. It's all sorts of body work that I learned mostly in two languages, in Russian and in Italian. And then I lived in US for around 5 years, and I learned from traditional naturopaths there. I took some pre-med courses in universities to really go in depth into anatomy and physiology and chemistry and biology and all that stuff, because I don't want to be able to speak only the language of rainbows and energy centers. I want to be able to read the science and simplify it for my clients, so that we can speak any language that is appropriate, right? So we can talk about double-blinded, randomized, placebo-controlled trials, or we can talk about the wisdom of grandma, right? And actually, science is just catching up with the grandma and explains why what she suggested works. So I joke a lot that I just tell you exactly what your grandmother suggested, but now I do it with authority and with fancy Latin names.
Yeah. Okay. I think when we start talking now is to expand many things, so that make I think that there are so many topics, because you are someone I would like to call the transdisciplinary person, because you are one who love learning, and in every subject that actually it is connected. And surely I think because you got the degree, as I told you, in trading linguistic, that is the first that you study from the four walls classroom. And after 20-year experience in three different continents, what you learn? Yeah, I try to connect a bit about the education that I am so interested, because when it mentioned about the learning, okay, if we focus on the education, we can focus to the other things, because in the private sector, in the any firm, people keep learning. So it said that if we divided the education into three portions, only 10% is about the direct learning, that we get the knowledge from university, from academy, from seminar, and whatever alike. That is only 10%. And another 20% out of 100 is about what we are doing now. It is exposure learning. When we talk, when we share, like you said, we share, we learn. You give me advice, I take your advice, yeah, back and forth. This 20% of the learning, it is exposure learning. And the rest one, 70%. It is 70% out of 100% is most important for human being. It can explain from what a lady from Russia graduate from one university for one degree. And when we talk, we start talking, you can expand too many, like a big root. That because of 70% is so-called the experiential, experiential learning. That is, we learn by doing. It's a self-learning, but it's not enough for the experiential learning. You have to learn as a group, like a team, and we come and sit together, brainstorming, reflection. That is the true meanings of the experiential learning. That is most important. That is in the perspective of education that I would like to connect to what you mentioned. And I think our audience gain quite a lot of benefit because I know, I know the on the first day when I start talking, and I know you are someone special because of the way you explain and you know everything, and I respect the thing you are doing. And today I learned so many words. You just uh, pick up like some words I never ever heard because I am engineer. Maybe you mentioned emotional health. Yeah, that is quite new for me because I'm not in this that area. But you should be one. At least maybe next episode we come to these terms. What about the emotional health? And you mentioned about the trauma. Trauma. I listened these words before because, as you may know, I am one volunteer of the Children Right Protection Foundation, and I help translating English book to this foundation. So it forced me to acquire my knowledge through reading. So I come to the trauma. Trauma is connect to the children who have the very bad experience when they were very young about the sex abuse or whatever. Yeah, you see, now we are connecting the dot. The knowledge one dot from the only 10%, but after that we're gonna connect the dot, and we can creating so many things that finally we come to the creativity and finally innovation. Yeah, right. So I think
Yes,
that
in the end, it's nice to come up with something practical and simple enough so that you understand why you want to do it, you understand what to do and exactly how to do. So that, in all my vitality projects, that's their idea, so that you have the confidence in making your life better and then helping other people.
yes, yes. Okay, I think it's almost 1 hour. So okay, you uh, it is your kindness. Yeah, you create your times and talk today after 2 years. So the you know the why? What is the reason why I challenge you to come here? Because I cannot memorize hundreds of things you tell me, but I will come back to our talk, and I try to set up something like outline to be used in next discussion on March 10th.
Okay.
Am I tricky?
Actually I do the same, so I know this trick.
Okay, and I think so many new things when you mention, because actually I know, but I don't know how to use it because a while ago you mentioned something universal, something is only a personal. Yeah, when you connect the two words and explain the content you would like to convey, it's quite beautiful. So I think that it's time, and so you are supposed to take a rest. And again, uh, let's tell our audience what is our next plan in March 10.
Well, I think that on the March 10 we can talk about some practical and easy tools that people can use the same day. Something that will make their immune system more resilient, something that will help them with the mental and emotional health, and just give some idea on how to improve life without spending a lot of money, a lot of time. I usually joke that I love working with lazy people because they always find the best innovation solutions. So I want to create something that is fun, something that gives you a lot of pleasure and easy to do, and you are excited, to go on the new adventure. You were talking about control, right? The chemical, conventional agriculture versus organic. So we use this control for ourselves a lot. I call it violence. There is this concept of nonviolent communication, and it goes not just talking between people, but talking to yourself. So what we can do on the March 10th, we can create the nonviolent communication and self-empathy for yourself as a starting point.
Mhm. Yes. I have one question, Olga. Do you read an bestseller book, uh, *Sapien* and *Homo Deus*?
Yeah, yeah,
You did?
yeah,
You love it?
yeah. It's a very interesting book.
And how about another one in the set? It is 21st century, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I got that so many points to be expanded and connect to the things happen because I read *Sapien* from the first page. You remember it start with the Big Bang and how to develop the after millions of years. And in the Homo Deus, it mentioned about the thing happened to hundreds of years or 500 of years ago. It's about the outbreak, Black Death, about the smallpox, yeah, in the European country, and now it's like it returned to COVID-19 era. Yeah. Okay. If
Well, no,
so,
not really. When you
yeah.
look at the numbers, you cannot compare, because when the death rate is in double digits, or
Mm,
when the death rate in 0 point, like less than 1%, it's 1,000 times the difference. So you cannot compare that.
yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know
You're right.
now now what we live through is exaggerated
Yeah.
situation that we need to adjust and find solutions to.
Hmm.
But I can understand what you mean, because now, psychologically, speaking of emotional health and mental health, it's I think very important to talk about it, and actually use rational thinking, and also use your heart to really understand that it's not the end of the world, and to find the best
The
solutions.
best solution. Yeah. 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 Okay. I think we can share quite a lot, and that is not my job. My job is a interviewer. You are my interviewee. So my job is looking for the good location to make a good documentaries and with a very beautiful scene. That is my job. And most important thing, I will come up with you a very delicious boat noodle.
Oh, okay, I'm in. Sold.
Okay, and if you can bring in some of the friend, yeah, you're most welcome because we are friend. We can connect and we can create a networking. And last question, this morning you mentioned about a big guy, Ajahn Yak. How did you know him, and what get you gain from him?
Well, that is back to the power of friendship. on the permaculture convergence, every year I go to the Thai permaculture convergence, do some presentations about health and sustainability, and learn from people who, do all these projects. So one of them was a lovely Thai girl who said, "Oh, by the way, I'm going to celebrate my teacher's birthday. It's a 3 or I don't remember, 4-day event." And he transformed horrible soil, that was like cement and nothing grew there, into a beautiful food forest, and now teaching there. So like, oh, I want to go. So we went there and stayed to celebrate Ajahn Yak's birthday among all this, what I call my tribe people, people who like to have fun and good food, and want to help themselves and help Mother Earth. So we learn how to feed the soil and let the soil feed the plant, right? So it's also a place where my other good friend and teacher, John Jondai, P. Joe, came, and a lot of other friends of Ajahn Yak. So from that time, I fell in love with this philosophy and the place and the people who work there. So I went there to volunteer to help them with the English language schools, and with mindfulness and with detox, and I participated in quite a lot of different programs there. So I took their courses as a student. So I was marching around with, this colored scarf, and, I was learning, and I was also teaching. I was doing the Russian paradox breathing exercises, and, showed the bioresonance life tests. And, there are so many fun things that we were been doing. I met also a group of people there that are kind of barefoot doctors. They're more Banban, the group, the foundation. And we became good friends. So this is a place that is very special for me, and Ajahn Yak is a very special person in my life.
Okay.
I keep visiting different projects. Like in Chantaburi, there is a chapter, and in Chiang Mai, I also met a lady recently, actually in Chengdao, that wants to redesign her property, and she asked me if I would help to redesign it, because Ajahn Yaku and his group were supposed to go there. So, this name pops up in many other places, not just in Chonburi.
Okay. Okay. I would say thank you very much, and then thank you for joining us, and a little bit formal on behalf of Shivadi Products. I would say because of our business tracking line. Yeah, it is a big word, the natural being for health and sustainability. That is what you know. So I look forward to talking together on March 10, because now we are happy on the virtual world, but I love to bring back what happened 2 years ago. It is a human touch. So we can enjoy talking, walking around, and having good food together. So let's
Yes.
say,
And speaking of good food, Chivadi products are in my kitchen. I am the brand ambassador. I introduce some of my friends and clients to your products
yeah,
because I enjoy it myself. So I feel it's fair to share with other people as well. If you remember, in some fairs and symposiums, we were doing that,
uh-huh,
just
uh-huh.
spreading the good quality product knowledge.
Okay, okay. For the first time after 2 years, before leaving, I would like to celebrate uh, reconnecting our friendship by Olang Sai song. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you see you
Thank you.
สวัสดีครับสวัสดีครับสวัสดีครับบาย
Bye bye.
okay how to disconnect okay yes that's Olga my long time friend from Russia we came across a couple of years ago at Gateway Ekamai. At that time, I joined in food exhibition at the Bangkok Farmer Market, and we just talk like a strangers in the beginning, and later on we get in contact and we share quite a lot of things, and we became friends since then. Thank you very much. I and Olga will have the face-to-face talk on March 10 at Collection and House, LaSalle. And please follow us. See you next time. Thank you very much. สวัสดีครับ